everybody, Don Murray here with your TVN Severe Weather Recap. It is Monday, June 29th, 2015. Quite an active severe weather pattern we have been in. Yesterday we had some severe weather. We'll start with that, and then we'll actually take a look at the past week and a half or so and see some of the severe weather events that crossed the northern plains of the Great Lakes. So first, let's start with yesterday. We had a pretty potent severe weather event here, especially across parts of the mid-Mississippi Valley here, across parts of southern Iowa, where these supercells started to develop in a tract southeast through parts of eastern Missouri and into parts of west central Illinois. Even a couple tornado reports here around the St. Louis area. So let's go ahead and actually zoom in to that area, and then we'll take a look at the rest of the country here in just a second. So you can see here, starting with some of these cells here across parts of Iowa, we had some scattered large hail detections here across parts of north central Iowa. Even a tornado report here right along the border here, right across on the Iowa side here, a tornado report here. You can see some of the other large hail detections. And then moving further to the south, you see some of these other large hail detections here and some of these other wind damage reports along these paths. And then moving further to the south here, you see some of these tornado reports here. We have a couple tornado reports right here. And then moving further to the north and east, we had a couple other tornado reports here across extreme eastern Missouri. Moving further to the south here across parts of the St. Louis metro area, you can see this path from the storm that tracked from the northwest to the southeast across the metro. See a lot of these spotter reports where you see these all 1-inch spotter reports, and then we did even have a few 2 and 3/4 inch hail detections. So some very large hail within the St. Louis area. And then moving to the west of St. Louis, you can see some of these other large hail detections here from these storms that moved from northwest to southeast. Now the mid-Mississippi Valley wasn't the only area that got in on the act for some severe weather yesterday. Here across parts of the southeast, we had some isolated wind damage reports here, especially across parts of southeastern Georgia, here extending into parts of the Jacksonville area. We can take a look at there. You can see some of these higher wind gusts recorded here. You see a 60-mile-an-hour wind gust here just south of Jacksonville. Just to the northeast of Jacksonville, you see some 40 and 50-mile-an-hour wind gusts. So not as active, but definitely some severe weather reports there across parts of the southeast. And again, moving across parts of the Intermountain West here, you can see just east of Denver, we had some very large hail. We had some storms that passed just east of the city here. You can see here just north of Denver, these storms tracked from north to south, producing some very large hail. Some 2-inch hail detections, but we had some spotter reports between 1 and 1.5 inches here, just east of the Denver metro. So that was good. Not a lot of damage occurred because away from the population areas. And then even further to the south here across parts of the southwest, see a lot of these scattered hail detections here across parts of New Mexico, and even a 60-mile-an-hour wind gust down here just southwest of Phoenix. See here in the desert, some higher wind gusts here with a thunderstorm that developed overhead, and you see some of the scattered hail activity here across parts of the desert southwest, and a couple other high wind reports here across parts of the Pacific Northwest. Here you see here across Washington State, we had a 60-mile-an-hour wind gust, and even here in the state of Oregon, a 60-mile-an-hour wind gust. So definitely the most active weather again yesterday was here across parts of the mid-Mississippi Valley, but we also had some other activity across the rest of the continental United States. So let's go ahead and now take a look at the active pattern we have been in and see where we could be going over the next few days. All right, so taking a look at where we stand for June so far, you can see here across parts of these southern plains, really not all that active. The switch kind of shut off there at the end of May and into early June after a very active spring season. And then moving here across parts of the central plains, extending up into the high plains, through the upper Midwest, the Great Lakes, and then off to the East Coast is where we've been having most of our active severe weather. You see a lot of these clouds here, clouds of the lightning bolt. Those are just wind damage reports. It looks a little more ominous on this map when it's zoomed out, but we can zoom in here to areas such as let's zoom into the Chicago area, for example. You can see how it kind of fans out. You see a lot of these wind damage reports here across, a lot of these hail detections here moving across parts of the Chicago area. So this is one active area here for the month of June so far, extending east here across parts of the lower lakes. Moving further to the west here, just as recently as this past week, central Iowa getting on the act. And take a look at this video here from Winterset, Iowa. This is just south and west of the city of Des Moines. You can see this classic supercell that had developed with one of these powerful storms that moved just south of Des Moines last week. Now go ahead and we can zoom the view out further, and we can take a look at some of this other activity here. Moving further to the west, we had some activity here that started really, what started this active severe weather pattern here was here across parts of southeastern Montana, where this pattern really started to kick into high gear, and then this activity continued to move across parts of the upper Midwest and into the Great Lakes. So what are we expecting for the next few days? We're in a northwest flow right now where disturbances are going to ride along the periphery of the ridge, and they're going to kind of come here from the Midwest, kind of skirt down here through the mid-Mississippi Valley and even into parts of the southeast. Just periodic bouts of wind damage and some hail and maybe even some isolated tornado reports. However, we are not really in a pattern that favors any real significant severe weather, but we're definitely going to have some severe weather events here, especially here across parts of the Midwest, extending around that ridge and going down there to parts of the southeast. All right, so thanks for watching this TVN severe weather recap. We'll be doing a June severe weather recap, recapping all the extreme severe weather events that occurred throughout the month of June and see what we can expect going into the rest of the summertime months. Tropical season is kicking into higher gear, so we can see if we have any more tropical development that we can expect over the next few months, and also see what we're anticipating for severe weather for the rest of the summertime months. So it's already going into July. I hope everybody has a great 4th of July weekend coming up, and take care.
Don't forget to check out Storm Chasers streaming live at tvnweather.com/live. Or if you're on the go, you can watch live Storm Chasers streaming on your mobile device by downloading the TVN Weather app on your Android or iOS device.